What's the deal? It's your man DJ KNS back again with another beat video, broadcasting live from Grenada, Nicaragua. So once again, the wife and I decided it was time to take a trip, so we actually came out here to celebrate her mother's 76th birthday. So at the same time, I decided, I gotta film some footage and potentially make a beat. I wasn't able to bring my normal setup with the machine, so I had to improvise. So I decided to download the Logic Pro X for iPad app. So I haven't used Logic in over 5 years. So on the flight here, which was only 2 hours, I was going through a deep dive tutorial on how to use the program and to see if I can actually make it work. So I listened to one of the sample packs I had loaded in the iPad, and I think I found something we can work with. So now that it's a little rainy and I already did my tourist thing, let's go ahead to the room. Let's get the sample put into Logic Pro. Let's chop it up. Let's see if we can make some heat. And with that said, let's get it cracking. Alright, so we're here in the hotel room in Nicaragua. It's raining outside. I'm going to go through some of these sample packs that I have here, and let's see if we can find something, and let's see if we can load it into Logic Pro for iPad, and let's see what we can come up with. I haven't used Logic in quite some time, so we're just going to struggle through this little program here and see if we can actually make some heat. So let's check out this sample here. I was listening to it on the plane, and I thought maybe there was something on here that we can use. So let's check it out. Alright, so I'm gonna drag that in here and just place it on a track here. We're going to use a quick sampler. Alright, it's analyzing right now. Let's go ahead and see, once it's done, if we can find a nice little chomp on here. Alright, so now that that's in here, let's go ahead and see what we can do with this here. Alright, so let's go to classic mode here, and let's go ahead and play this joint. Let's do one shot. Alright, let's change the polyphony to mono. That's number one. Let's go ahead and see if we can trim the beginning here. Alright, so we have let's see if that's gonna loop. Classic. Let's do the loop forward. Alright, good. Alright, so now I have the sample. I'm gonna go ahead and truncate it, and then we're gonna flex it so that it snaps to the tempo of 87, and then I'm gonna chop it into different slices and see what we can do. So let's go ahead and truncate this. Functions, crop sample. Alright, so now instead of doing the loop, we're gonna go ahead and slice this into equal parts. So we're gonna do equal divisions. Alright, so we went ahead and sliced that to 16 chops. Let me go ahead and put flex time on there. So now it's going to be different. As you can hear, it's playing a little bit slower. So before I do that, let's go ahead and add some drums so I have a foundation of what I'm trying to do. So let me go ahead and load up some sounds here. Alright, so I went ahead and loaded some sounds. So I have 2 hi-hats, a snare with a clap, and 2 kicks. So let's start with the hi-hats first. Alright, we're gonna do 4 bars for the drums. So let's start with the hi-hat. Alright, let's lay down the snare next. Alright, so let me go ahead and quantize that really quickly so we get this timing correct. I'm gonna do 1/16 on that. Alright, so let's go ahead and lay the kick in. Alright, so now that I got the drums in here, let's see if we can come up with a pattern with the sample chop, and let's see what we can come up with. Alright, so next thing is, let's see if we can go ahead and find a bass line to put with this before we add anything else. So let's go ahead and load a bass. Alright, so I loaded up a bass patch. Let's see if we can come up with a bass line for this section right here, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so we have that now. We got that bass right there, right? So let's see if we can make a B section with the sample chop, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I think I figured out another sample chop for the B section, so let's try it out. Alright, let's do it. Alright, so now that we have that, let's see if we can add a bass line to this section right here. And then we're going to carve out some of the frequencies so that the bass can cut through, and then we're going to do some arrangement. next, let's see if we can lay down like maybe some additional layers, like maybe like an electric piano or something, right? So let's go ahead and do that real quick. All right, so I loaded an electric piano. I want to see if I can lay down like a little chord structure real quick. Something like this. So let's try it out. All right, so we have that part down now, right? We have the chords down. Let's go ahead and make an intro sequence for the sample, and then we'll do some arrangements. All right, so now that we have that in here, I'm gonna go ahead and make a little bit of an arrangement with the intro, and then the first sequence that we made, the first sample chop, I'm gonna let that play for about 16 bars, and then we'll play the second sample chop for about 8 bars, and then come back around to the 16, and that's how we'll sequence the song. All right, y'all, so now that I have everything recorded with my sample chops on my bass line and my drums, what I want to do is I want to add an EQ and roll off some of the low frequency on the sample so that the bass line can cut through a little bit better. So I went ahead and loaded the Logic channel EQ, and we're just going to put a low pass filter on the sample to about 300 hertz, 350 hertz. So this is how the sample is. So you can hear that the sample has a little bit of bass in there already. So now we're just going to roll that off. Now, when we actually play it, the bass is going to cut through a little bit better, right? So now that we have that done, let's go ahead and play the whole joint, starting with the 2-bar intro, going into the 16-bar verse, going into the 8-bar hook section, and back to the 16-bar and vice versa. So here we go. y'all. So that's what I was able to come up with on a short notice. Like I said, I haven't used Logic in years, and the version I have of Logic is way different than the version I have on this iPad, because this is the latest version. So I basically had to figure this out from scratch. While I was on the plane, I was looking at little tutorials that the actual program comes with built in, and this is what we came up with. I actually like the beat. I don't think it's bad, but I would like to throw it in Maschine and rework it a different way because I'm more comfortable in Maschine. But, you know, let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification for every time I upload a new video. You'll be the first to know. And until next week, KNS out. Peace.